Okay, so the Eagles are about to face the Browns in what should be a classic get-right game, as they're set up perfectly to dominate on both sides of the ball, as offensively, not only will they get a few star players back, but some of their best weapons seem ready to have fantastic performances, and that includes A.J. Brown, who revealed that he's super fired up to get back out there. Plus, the defense is also set up perfectly to dominate the lowly Browns offense, so let's talk about all that and all the other news leading into this absolutely crucial matchup. Hey guys, welcome to the Philly Fan 21 channel. If you're new, I'm Evan, and I cover all things Philadelphia Eagles, and we are so close to the Birds' extremely important matchup with the Browns coming off the bye week, which is a game that could have major ramifications depending on how it goes, and it could also set the stage for the rest of the season. But aside from that, I just think that after the time off, it's going to be great to have the Birds back out on the field, and hopefully this game winds up being a huge bounce back effort for the Eagles after what has been an up and down but mostly disappointing start to the season. And the Eagles will be set up perfectly to do that, as first off, they're playing the 1-4 Cleveland Browns, who might have the worst offense in football, as they haven't scored over 18 points in any game yet this season, and Deshaun Watson also hasn't even thrown for over 200 yards in the game. Plus, he's also been sacked 26 times in 5 games, so safe to say the Eagles defense is set up to have a great performance. And then on the defensive side for the Browns, they seem to have taken a step back there as well, and they could also be missing some key pieces on both sides of the ball, as the Browns' final injury report came out, and while a lot of the players that were listed on it are good to go for Sunday, there's also a lot of players who will be out or their status is in question for this game. For example, Nick Chubb and Grant Delpit are out, while Jordan Hicks, Maurice Hurst, and Denzel Ward are all questionable. So, like I said yesterday, this injury news certainly does not help what is already a struggling Browns team. And then again, as I said yesterday, the news for the Eagles on the injury front is great, as all 52 guys on the active roster are healthy and ready to go for Sunday. And if you'll notice, there is one remaining roster spot that can be filled, which I would have to imagine will be, or depending on the time you're watching this video, already has been used to bring Sidney Brown off of IR back onto the roster, as he seems set to make his return on Sunday. And he's not the only guy set to return, as the Eagles' previously injured offensive trio of A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith, and Lane Johnson all were full participants every day in practice this week, and they are all good to go for Sunday. Now, there were some questions surrounding DeVonta Smith throughout the week and whether or not he would end up clearing concussion protocol or not, but he, along with rookie wide receiver Johnny Wilson, were both able to officially clear protocol on Friday. So it's happening. Smitty, AJ, and Lane are all going to be back this week, which will no doubt give a massive boost to the offense, as they are now back at full capacity and hopefully ready to start realizing their full potential. But doing that isn't solely about just getting the star guys back, although that of course is a big part of it, but the Eagles still got to clean some things up offensively that don't have to do with the players out on the field. And Saquon Barkley pretty much echoed this same thing in a press conference on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, it feels really good to have those caliber players back on the field. It definitely helps. I mean, it doesn't hurt by any means, but at the end of the day, we still got to get back to executing better, taking care of the little things, focus on our details, and I think we addressed that this week in practice, and now we got to come tomorrow, wrap things up and then get ready for Sunday.
I definitely agree with Barkley there, as again, like he said, getting guys like AJ and DeVonta back is obviously super helpful, but they also just got to be better with the details and taking care of the ball and just executing. So hopefully they work some of those things out in practice this week, like Saquon said, and they are much better because of it. But I also think something else that no question just has to be better is the game planning ahead of the games and also the play calling during the games, which obviously is all wrapped up into coaching. I mean, obviously the Birds have struggled with slow starts and the red zone offense, which are two things that I think largely come down to coaching and play calling, and I think those two things combined with the turnovers have really been what's wrong with this offense so far this year. So hopefully they can get those things corrected in this game and moving forward as well. And as I said in a previous video last week, I think one thing that really can help in all these areas is to just simply run the ball. I mean, I think all Eagles fans can agree that that's something we'd like to see more of, especially early in games and in the red zone. I mean, just listen to famous Philly rapper and Eagles fan Gilly in this clip from the Pivot podcast.
We not a pretty team. We a gritty team. We don't want to throw for 5,000 yards. We want to throw for 4,000. We want them to run for 70. We're from 600 to 750. And we want to get a goddamn ball to Saquon Barkley, man. We got to play to this man's strengths. This man's strength is on the ground. On the ground. On the ground. Play action fake, them linebackers come up. I got y'all. Come on, man.
Yeah,
It's like you trying to come over here and trying to prove something. I'm trying to go over here and I'm gonna make him the same. No, you're not. You're gonna run the ball, then you're gonna run the ball again. And then if it's second and 3, then you're gonna run it again.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with Gilly to some extent. I mean, a commitment to running the ball, especially early in the game, I think would really help the offense and Jalen Hurts just get into a quick rhythm and help them get into more situations where they're controlling the game and the clock rather than trying to come from behind like they have been at times this season. And I mean, with the way Saquon Barkley has looked to start the year, I just feel like it's a no-brainer to lean on him a little bit more to get the offense kick-started and also to finish drives. I mean, I'm not saying to overuse him and run him into the ground or anything like that, but I definitely think there is a healthy balance that they can find. So we'll see how Saquon Barkley is used this week, and hopefully the Eagles lean on him a little bit more than they did in their last game against the Bucks, where he only had 12 touches. And I'm telling you, when that run game and Saquon get going, the rest of the offense should get going as well, including the star guys they got back in AJ Brown and DeVonta Smith. And then overall, I mean, the offense should also just look a lot closer to how it looked in week 1, where the Birds put up 34 points, as opposed to how it's looked these past few weeks. And of course, week 1 was the last time we saw AJ Brown out on the field, and he's arguably the Eagles' best player, and there's no doubting that he's one of the most important ones as well. So again, just getting him back out there is going to be great and will provide a huge boost to the offense. And not only are Eagles fans fired up for it, but AJ also just said that he's fired up for it as well. And don't worry, we're going to get into that and so much more in just a minute, but real quick, I do want to say, if you are enjoying this video and don't want to miss any other Eagles content or coverage just like this coming throughout the rest of this entire season, then make sure you subscribe and also really importantly, turn on notifications so you're notified instantly when one of these videos is uploaded. I think that's a win-win for the both of us, because not only do I get more people consistently watching these videos, but you don't miss any other Eagles coverage or content just like this. So again, subscribe, turn on notifications, and also drop a like. Let's see if we can get to 600 likes on this video. And now, with all that being said, let's get back into the video. So as I was saying, with AJ Brown set to make his return against the Browns, there is a lot of reason for Eagles fans to be excited and optimistic about the offense, but AJ himself is also super excited to just get back out there as well, especially at home, as he hasn't played in the Lynx since last season, as he said this in a press conference on Friday.
I'm so excited. I'm glad my first game back is back in the Lynx. You know, I know the place is going to be rocking, you know, and try to get this thing turned around.
Again, just glad to hear that AJ is excited, and he also seems locked in ahead of the matchup with the Browns, so hopefully he comes out and has a huge game and, like he said, helps start to get this thing turned around. Now, whether he's going to have to deal with the challenge of facing a very good corner in Denzel Ward or not remains to be seen. It's like I mentioned earlier, Ward is questionable with the hamstring injury. From the looks of it, if I had to make a bet, I honestly feel like he probably won't play, just because hamstrings are typically tough injuries, and he didn't practice on either Wednesday or Thursday before returning in limited fashion on Friday. But again, if he does play, that does provide a challenge, as Ward is a very good player, and like AJ said, he's going to have to be prepared to face him, and possibly face him on every snap if he shadows.
He has been known to shadow a guy. Are you guys expecting that shadow?
That's something I always consider, you know, especially when they have a top guy like that. You know, and we're prepared for whatever happens.
Definitely be prepared to see some great battles between AJ and Ward if the latter does play, because both are obviously great players, and this could wind up being a very fun matchup. But of course, I'm going to roll with AJ to get the edge, and ultimately, whether Ward plays or not, I just expect AJ to have a big day. And just overall for the Eagles offense, I'm expecting a much better performance than we got from them in their last game versus the Bucks, as of course, again, just getting star players back certainly helps a lot. I already said I expect AJ to have a nice game, and DeVonta could also be set up nicely as well, as he'll most likely primarily be covered by Martin Emerson, who's ranked 110 out of 110 qualified corners so far. And I also expect Saquon to continue to look great and play well, and also the bye week came at a great time, as not only did it let some of those guys get healthy, but it also gave the Eagles an opportunity to really dive into what's been going wrong all year on both sides of the ball. So now, coming out of the bye, it seems like the message that head coach Nick Sirianni has been pushing to the team is to stay hungry and humble to get these issues fixed. So hopefully he, the coaches, and the players were all able to do that, and we see a much better product on the field this week, and the offense fixes their issues. And the thing about the offense is that the potential is clearly there. I mean, we've seen it at times through 4 games, as the Eagles are 5th in average yards per drive and 4th in plays per drive. So they have moved the ball at times, even without some of their best players, but the problem has just been turning the ball over, the red zone offense, and not scoring early in games. So hopefully they can get those things fixed this week versus the Browns defense that is dealing with some injuries, and it's definitely taken a step back since last year. Now, the one area that is a bit concerning could be Myles Garrett and the Browns' defensive line and pass rush, as that is one area that they are pretty strong in, and they also tend to blitz a good amount, as Jim Schwartz's defense ranks 7th in the league in blitzes. So once again, it is going to be key to see how Jalen Hurts and the offensive line are able to handle the heat. They did do a pretty good job against it during the first 3 weeks of the season, but then last game versus the Bucks, they were obviously really bad. So again, we'll see how they handle it. I definitely do think the coaches have to do a better job of giving Jalen Hurts some check down options and just try to get the ball out of his hands a lot quicker than they have, have. And again, like I said earlier, I think that just establishing the run game and getting Saquon Barkley going early will go a long way in negating the Browns' great pass rush and blitzes. So again, we'll see how they handle it. And then defensively, this is a game where the Eagles are set up for major success. I mean, the Browns might have the worst offense in the league so far. Their quarterback is playing awful, and they also just can't protect their quarterback, so the Birds have the potential to have a dominant effort on that side of the ball. And I'm honestly really just hoping to see more of what we saw versus the Saints, where they were able to stop the run, they got pressure on the quarterback, they tackled very well, and they also got a takeaway. And one other thing that they just got to do a better job of is getting tighter on the receivers and not allowing Deshaun Watson to get into an easy rhythm with a bunch of short passes. So if they can do that, they should be in good shape and just set themselves up to do everything else well. And honestly, I'm just hoping for an overall great performance. I think they definitely can do it because, again, the Browns offense kind of stinks. And overall, I mean, I'm just going to choose to be a little bit delusional and overly positive and take the Eagles to win in convincing fashion 35-17, which I know is kind of a little bit of a crazy prediction after what we saw the first 4 weeks of the season, but what can I say? I'm feeling optimistic, so Eagles, please do not let me down. And you guys can let me know your score predictions down in the comments below, and also while you're at it, again, make sure you just subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any other Eagles coverage or content just like this, and also drop a like down below to show some support. If you did enjoy this video, I would greatly appreciate it, and it really does help me out a ton. Again, let's see if we can get to 600 likes today. And also, if you want to watch another Eagles video going over some news from earlier in the week, you can check this out right here. And now with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.